everyone, and welcome to the 4th annual Walford Weekly Awards. We're hot off the red carpet, and I'm joined by Rob and Ben. Hello to you both.
Hello.
Hello.
So excited.
Like Eurovision, we can't do it with just one host. We have to do it with three to do each award. And if you're listening to this, you can actually watch this as a video on YouTube right now. And it's an actual video. It's not just a stock photograph of us just kind of posing like that or anything like that. This is actual video footage that you can watch on YouTube. So I strongly recommend that you guys join us on there if you can. Now, Rob and Ben, starting with Rob, actually, what are you most excited about tonight's award ceremony? Apart from seeing me in a tux, of course.
Obviously, I mean, that's a treat for anybody. If that's not a sign to Patreon, I don't know what is. Yeah, I'm very excited to get just find out who won the awards and find out how you, the listeners, voted.
Nice. Ben, can you top that? Is there anything that you're more excited about than
Doubt it.
What Rob's excited about?
No, I'm not very good at topping, but Mr. and Mrs. Walford, I think, is what I'm most looking forward to. I want to see who's come out on top for the best characters, best males, best females. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, I see. So, well, we've got lots of categories coming up. We've got, as Ben said, Miss Walford, Mr. Walford. We have best performance for a male and female actor, also best ensemble performance, and many, many more. As Rob alluded to just then, we are doing this video podcast to show our wares of what we can produce if you guys were willing to help us on Patreon. Our Patreon is now up and running, and the details are at the bottom of the screen. Also, if you're listening to this, our Patreon details will be in our show notes. If you want to donate, please feel free to do so. We're not trying to claim that we're going to do anything singing and dancing, bells and whistles. We just would like you to participate, and maybe we can do more video podcasts in the future. Right, I think that's the advertising out the way. Let's get going with the very first category.
That's the sponsorship done.
Also, sponsorship deals, we are more than willing to accept too. Just if anyone is watching from, say, Squarespace or Audible.
Yeah.
So,
or some sort of vegan company. They both enjoy vegan and vegetarian stuff. Go for it. All over it.
Yeah.
Or Adam and Eve, love honey. We're not prudish.
And I like Pizza Hut, so...
Really not. Okay. Well, if any of those companies are watching, please feel free to get in touch. Details on our show notes. So we are starting off then with the category of Best Newbie. When you guys got to vote earlier this month, we gave you 8 different characters for you to vote for. And we've narrowed it down to the top 3. And they are Zach Hudson, Mila Marwa, and Frankie Lewis. So, Ben, who is your favourite of those 3 to win?
Frankie, because I think she's had the longest reign so far and the most development. But Mila is getting up there. She's had a good few weeks where she's suddenly become a character after just being an extra to begin with. So yeah, it could be anyone's.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Frankie seems to have had the come from nowhere. It's difficult to remember the fact that she actually came in as supposed to have been Ben's death mate, and now she's like a Carter and has got her own history and storylines together. It's mad. But yeah, Frankie all the way. Excellent.
So I think that's 2 votes for Frankie. Who did you vote for? The winner for Best Newbie 2021 is... It's Frankie Lewis. I almost forgot, but it is Frankie Lewis. Well done, Frankie.
Yay!
Well
Correct.
Done.
Well done.
Much well deserved.
Listeners. Well done, listeners.
Yeah. I think they're right. It as you say, she came in as an extra, essentially, as just for the death storyline for Ben, and yeah, she's really grown and shown her way into the Carter family, and yeah, fantastic story with Mick and all that. So well deserved. Now, next award is being presented by Rob.
We are next moving on to the Best Exit, which is also known as the Julia Smith Award. And our nominees are Chantel Atkins, Kush Kazemi, and Max Branning. Alex, who wins? Who do you think?
I mean, Kush had an unnecessary but an amazing exit. And Chantel had a very thought-provoking exit. Max Branning had a strange exit because it kind of was very underwhelming. But I actually enjoyed all three of them. So I don't really want to say a favourite, to be honest with you. I think they're all good in their own way. They're all very different, but the same-ish kind of, because they exited. So they all left.
Yeah.
It depends what you mean by good there. Because I wouldn't say Cush's exit was good, bless him. That was quite traumatic on everyone. The images of what was left over. Max's exit was a bit of just nothing, but it got a Julius theme, didn't it? Like the first one in 2 years. So that can give it some bonus points maybe, but I don't know. And Chantel's was obviously just the BAFTA and nominated awards. So.
Well, and Chantal's exit got silence instead of a Julius theme. When was the last time we got silence on the credits? Were you Ronnie and Roxy maybe? Or no, Abby probably, wasn't it?
Well, what did Cush get?
Cush got Gray walking away.
Cush got Gray, yeah. Gray having a duff-duff.
Throwing a hoodie over his face and walking out of the non-CCTV'd underground. But the winner of the Julia Smith Award 2021 is Chantel Atkins, as it should be, I think.
I think that's the best. That's a good choice. Well done, yes. We're all on the same wavelength, aren't we, all of us?
It was. It might not have been the best aftermath, and let's be honest, none of us like the direction the story is currently going in, which is a shame. But originally, it was a very powerful story and a very powerful and shocking ending, an important ending, I think, for the character of Chantel. So well done, listeners, and well done to Jessica Plummer, who I thought was amazing in her final episode.
Yeah, she was. She really
was excellent.
Come up to a new level in her final weeks, didn't she? At the Seaside Cafe.
Yes,
so,
yes,
yeah, very good.
Yeah, that final week for Chantel was it showed what they can do.
Yeah.
So up next is I think Ben's favourite category, and so Ben is here to host it.
It is. I'm doing the best bitch, which I do every year. And the top 3 voted for by you guys were Suki Panesar, Ruby Allen, and strangely D.I. Steve Thompson. Anyone can be a bitch in our
D.I.
world.
Gaffney.
D.I. Gaffney.
D.I. Gaffney,
remember,
yes,
D.I.
yes,
Gaffney.
bless him.
Yes.
So quite 3 different bitches there. 3 different bitches, I would say. Who deserves to be the best bitch, though?
I mean, there's only one, isn't there? Surely to God. The queen of bitchiness herself, Suki Panesar, played to perfection by Balvinda, we should say. No, I think Suki came in and was instantly a character that we wanted to know more about. Apart from, we all longed for the history and lives of D.I. Gaffney, obviously, but I think Suki just about takes the top spot for me.
Yes, yeah. We did miss out on seeing him run naked through the square when he woke up in the freezer, didn't we? So we were robbed of that scene.
Yeah, I suspect that D.I. Gaffney is actually quite a good-looking fella underneath that suit. So I was quite upset not to see that. But like Rob says, Suki came into the show. Suki came into the show and basically running, and we've never looked back. And we always want to learn more about her. And when we say it's like an onion, when we see more layers about her, we're fascinated. And she seems to just every time she's in a scene, she just seems to dominate it and really bring it up a level. So yeah, I'm not afraid. I'm happy to say that I agree. I think Suki should be best bitch this year.
And I'm not sure how I feel about Ruby. It's strange that Ruby was voted within at least the top 3, if not the winner of best bitch, which is a bit strange. Because her storyline is quite a serious storyline with a miscarriage, and the public seem to be voting her as a best bitch. So I don't know if that's
maybe Lily's one of the voters.
Right, okay, so you ready to hear the winner of the best bitch then?
I am purged.
So,
yes.
We have the winner of Best Bitch 2021 is Suki Panesar.
Yeah!
Yes!
Ooh.
And I must say, before we get too carried away as well, we do have a very short message from Balvinda.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, I got in touch with all the nominees. There's only so many people I can get in touch with, but each year we get a step closer to having a full-blown award ceremony, and this is our step
Red
for this
carpet.
year. So, yes, we will get there.
There is a red carpet, Rob. There is a red carpet. We've just come off of it.
Oh, good. Yeah, your hallway
Ruin the
carpet
illusion.
is there. Yeah, perfect.
Big Mo wore the same outfit from last year, but she still looked fabulous. Anyway, Balvinda has said, best bitch, my sister will be ecstatic, as part of Suki Panesar is based on her. Lots of love, and thank you once again for all of your continued support.
Wow.
So who wants to meet Balvinda's sister?
Me. I definitely do. Oh, yeah. I want to meet Balvinda's whole family.
Yeah, we can get them on the podcast. That's not a problem. The BBC can't kick off about that.
That's true. That's true. We could talk to the character of Suki through the family of Suki.
Yeah.
That's a good
absolutely.
idea.
Perfect. Let's get on it.
I'll get on it for next year.
Yeah.
Are you listening, BBC? We know you are. We know you are. Or are you watching
We know
on
loopholes.
YouTube? Right, next award before we get in too much trouble and we start getting a lawsuit coming our way is Hero of the Year. I'm giving out the winner to Hero of the Year, and the three nominees were Kathy Beale, Mick Carter, and Karit Panesar. Obviously, my favourite is going to be Karit, but Rob, who's your favourite?
I mean, I have to say, I would probably go for Kira as well. Or how, even though it sounds like different characters the way me and Alex say it. Yeah, I would probably say Kira as well. I think that he is slowly developing into quite a good, cool character that I, again, want to know more about. I would say that about the whole Panesar family. But yeah, I'd say Kush has got that superhero potential.
I love the Panesars as well. Anyone who listens to the podcast, Panesars all the way. Ben,
Every 5 minutes.
Well,
I think it's going to be Kathy.
I'll go with Kathy, just to be a bit different. She's a lovely lady, works at Samaritans multiple times in her life. She's always there for her family, isn't she? She took Sharon down a peg or two when she tried to kill Ian. So, yeah, I think she's a hero. It's hard to find a hero in Walford. And Kathy's yet to murder anyone or anything.
In a square full of villains, it's difficult to find a hero.
Be a Kathy.
Be more Kathy. That's right.
What would Kathy do?
Well, let's find out who the winner is. I've got it on my wrist every day. Who knows? So the winner of Hero of the Year is... It's Karit Panesar.
Hey! Did you fix the vote?
Lovely man in a suit.
Thank you, Ben. But what about Karit?
No, he's the one in the good suit.
No, Kira in a dicky bow would be a sight.
Yeah, he could get the Frank Butcher dicky bow, couldn't he?
What, just the dicky bow on? Ooh. I'll be Pat Butcher. I can imagine opening the back door to Karit stood there.
This is just an insight into your mind after 8 p.m. Yes, absolutely. We like Kira, and looking forward to more development for him and the rest of the Panesar family. But Hero of the Year, yes, I think so. Not bad for somebody whose first scenes on the screen was kidnapping Lola all those many years ago. Isn't it mad?
Ben, I believe that we may have another quote or someone's reply to our kind request to accept their win.
Yes. I thought you were doing this. Yes, we have Jazz Doll, the lovely Jazz Doll, has gotten in touch with us. And he has said, I am very happy to receive this award. And I'm also very appreciative of the support from Walford Weekly and all of your listeners who took the time to vote for me. So that was a lovely little message from Jazz Doll. So there you go. Thank you very much for taking the time of getting back to us. It's appreciated.
I know.
Communication has been open.
Anyway, yes. Feel free to get in touch with us whenever you want. Whenever you want. Coming up next is the award for Mr. Walford. And who else but Mr. Walford Weekly to present it?
What can I say? Yes, so the nominees for Mr. Walford are Kirat Panesar, Kush Kazemi, and of course, Ben Mitchell. Now, we're not a shallow podcast, but Alex, I don't think I even need to ask you who would be your Mr. Walford, but we'll do it just for the routine of it. Go on, who's your winner?
Well, considering I just talked about having Colette turn up at my back door with just a dicky bow tie on and me dressed as that butcher to recreate that scene, yeah, and then having Colette.
Yeah, I think you've said enough on the matter. Actually,
we'll never
it's getting
get
embarrassing now.
Ben, who is your Mr. Walford?
Kush Kazimi, he's got the charm, he's got the wit, he's a nice person, he's got the body of a god, he never did anything wrong in his little life. So Mr. Walford, that's, it's not just sexiest male, Alex. It's the whole round of a Mr. Walford. What Walford needs in its Mr. And Kush is what it needed.
On the podcast, we did explain that Mr. and Miss Walford Awards is about the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, and not just the handsomeness of the person. It's just that it so happens that Colette is a very good-looking guy.
I didn't listen to any.
But does that make him Mr. Walford, though?
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out. The winner of the Mr. Walford Award 2021 is Kush Kazimi.
Good. Correct decision once again.
I think that he was a good guy, Kush. We will miss him. Let's be honest. Who wouldn't want someone like Kush in their lives? Just on their arm, protecting you, maybe getting you a few $100,000 on the gambling. He was a good guy, and he will be sorely missed. And the London Underground tracks are lucky to have his entrails all over them. That's what I think.
You are right in saying, though, that Kush was easy on the eye, obviously, but he was also a nice character, and he was always kind, and there isn't many nice characters on the show right now, and to lose him, I know this isn't a FS exit, but still, to lose that character is a huge shame. So I think to say he's Mr. Walford is almost as good as calling him Hero of the Year as well. So I think he deservedly has that award in his trophy cabinet.
Good luck to him.
Ben is next up now with our Miss Walford Award. So, Miss Walford Weekly, would you like to present this award for us?
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you. So, Mrs. Walford, to go alongside our Mr. Walford, the top 3 voted for by you guys were Kathy Beale, Whitney Dean, or Whitney Kazimi, which could have been, and Stacey Slater. So, they are the top 3, and one of them is the winner. So, who is your Mrs. Walford?
Maybe Stacey, just because she makes me laugh a lot. I like Stacey. I think she's had a lot of powerful storylines over the years. She seems to be in a slightly quieter, obviously when she's not on maternity leave. But I quite like this whole rivalry that's established between her and Ruby. And unfortunately, she has produced the spawn of Satan in Lily. But we can't have everything. So yeah, I think Stacey.
I mean, you've got to give hats off to Lacey Turner as well for coming back from maternity leave, appearing all the time. So that's also a plus, even though it's about Stacey. But
it may be a bit controversial, but I actually quite like Whitney, and I wouldn't mind Whitney getting Miss Walford because she's had such a hard year. Everything that could happen to her, bar a house toppling on top of her, is happened.
Give it time.
I don't question now. I've said out loud. Now I've said out loud. I'm expecting it to happen by Christmas. So I think let's kind of G Whitney up a little bit and give her a little bit credit for having survived so much, and she sung whole again. So
that is true. That is true. She survived prison. She survived a lot. Bless her.
Stacey's not sung a song, and nor has Kathy. Exactly.
Well, Gillian Tailforth did sing a song on Secrets from the Square because she sings behind the scenes in her dressing room. So, there's a little caveat there. Anyway, right. So you ready to hear the winner of Mrs. Walford?
Yes.
Most definitely.
Okay. So the winner who came out on top this year was Kathy Beale. She won.
Hey! Fantastic.
So there you go. There's life in the old dog.
I mean,
That's
that's
not
amazing.
right.
That's amazing. I don't know what you're on about.
I mean,
She's literally only 19.
Exactly.
I
That's why
say.
she won Miss Walford.
She didn't drink from the Fountain of Youth. She swam, bathed.
She's been on
Yeah.
the show for over 35 years, but her age is actually only 21.
Gone
so-
down. In fact, I think she ages backwards. She'll be a child by the time EastEnders finishes.
She's like Benjamin Button.
She is. Kathy's a great character, and I always like to see her on Square. The fact that she's slowly becoming sort of the mother to the Square as well at the minute, I think it's great. She's almost sort of adopting that Lou role at the moment. When you've got a problem, you go and speak to Kathy, which is nice. So yeah, long live Kathy.
She's become a bit more. I mean, Kat's always had a backbone and able to look after herself, but she seems to be a lot more. Not aggressive. That's the unfair term to use, but she's not afraid.
Assertive.
Of being assertive. That's right.
I think it actually helps in a strange way that Ian's not around her, because it's made them force her out of that circle of just being with Ian. So I think in a way, Adam Woodyatt's rebellion has kind of helped her this year.
Up next for the next 3 awards, we asked you to vote for the actor and actress, not the character. So the first one is the best ensemble performance. Again, we gave you 8 options. These are the top 3. They were Lacey Turner, Louisa Lighton, and James Bye with Ruby's Miscarriage, Jessica Plummer and Toby Alexander-Smith with The Domestic Abuse Death, and Danny Dyer, Kelly Bright, Simone Leheb, and Rose Ayling-Ellis with Katie's Abuse Revealed. All very good stories, actually. Very good top 3. Ben, what has been your favourite from this cycle?
I don't know. That's really tough, isn't it? Because all of them have some really good performances in them. Like the Ruby and Stacey Martin one was kind of a bit of a surprise, but Louisa Lighton really did show some really good performances in there. But I think it's going to have to go to the Carters because of that New Year's Day episode where Mick and Katie bubbled together, and Simone has done such a good job at the character of Katie, who maybe isn't the most in-depth, but with her as the actress, she's been able to give loads of, even with no dialogue, she's been able to give a load to that character. So I think it would have to go to them. And it's made Danny Dyer actually be really good, I think. Like, pulled him out. And Kelly Bright's always giving good performances. So that's who I would go for, the Carters.
Yeah, I mean, Katie's got more depth than Ellie's got, at least. But out of those 3, it's difficult to choose, actually. I mean, to be fair, I would still argue that the Domestic Abuse Death was so, impactful. It's so frustrating it's gone the way it has. But the initial exit episode for Chantel was insanely powerful. But then again, I would put the New Year's Day episode with the confrontation between Mick and Katie up there as well. And I think that as a sort of standard story, the Stacey Martin Ruby thing was fun to watch, but maybe it's not up there with the caliber of the other 2. So I couldn't say it. For me personally, I think I'd say the domestic violence episode.
Yeah, I mean the domestic violence story and Mick's abuse story were also billed quite heavily, whilst, as you say, the Ruby and Stacey story was kind of it's EastEnders stock, isn't it? And so it kind of was there, it was placed. But that's not to discredit it in any way. It was still a very well performed story. However, which one was your favourite? The listeners of Walford Weekly have voted, and they have said Jessica Plummer and Toby Alexander-Smith with the domestic abuse storyline. I mean, I think it's that week, isn't it? That domestic abuse week, wasn't it? When they did the full story. Ben, you don't seem very happy with that.
No, I am. No, I understand. The episode where Chantel died and the week leading up to it were very good. It's just hard to not let what's happened afterwards affect your memory of it, I guess, for me. But yeah, they deserve to win. Jessica Plummer did a really, really good job. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
I mean, we will probably discuss the aftermath of the domestic abuse story in a category a little bit later on these awards. However, we'll discuss that a little bit later, as we're going to move on now to mess. We are going to move on to the best the best male performance.
Oh, yes. Yes, talking about presented by this mess. There we go. So the the categories, the nominees for best male performance are Danny Dyer, Toby Alexander-Smith, and Ricky Champ. So, Alex, who is your top boy out of those three?
For me, and I'm not sure. I mean, he's made it to the top three, so he must be very well liked. I think Ricky Champ pips everyone else to the post for me.
Yeah, you like
yes,
him a lot,
I'm a huge. I am, and I'm a huge Rainey and Stuart fan. I don't hide any fact about that. I love their stories when they're together. Before they even got together, I championed them as a couple, and when they put them together, it's exactly what I expected it to be. It's really kind of, almost nasty, not vicious relationship, but they love each other so much because they're so similar with their way they look out into the world. And yeah, for me, Ricky Champ, I think, has portrayed it really well. He's not been on screen a lot, which is a shame. And I think he could do a lot more. It's just, I think, the confidence of giving him these extra stories. So maybe next cycle, when we do this, the 5th annual next year, perhaps when Ricky's done a bit more, he might be at the top. For me, he's at the top right now, but I don't think he's been voted to the top, but for me, he would be my favourite.
It's quite the journey that Ricky Champ has been on as well, isn't it? Because I think 2 years ago he won Best Villain, and then the year after he won Best Comedic, and now he's up for Best Dramatic Performance. So he's had quite a roller coaster ride on our award shows, but he hasn't been that busy this year. So I think I would probably say Danny Dyer, because I think he has done some of his best work this year. So.
Yeah, Toby Alexander-Smith, I think he's memorable this year, isn't he? He's had a lot to do, slicing people in half and such like. I think again, I much preferred Gray when he was. This is such a strange thing to say. I much preferred Gray to when he was a domestic abuser as opposed to a serial killer, because I think it's easier to give good. I think it's easier to give more intense performances in a sort of serious role like that, as opposed to sort of standard soap psycho that just kills people. It's like, I think it's slightly more emotive as a performance rather than just. So I don't know, but good for Toby for being up there. Gray will certainly not be forgotten when he eventually leaves, but I can reveal that the winner is Danny Dyer.
Okay.
Oh,
well
the
done.
one we all didn't say.
I said.
Oh, okay. Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. No, to be fair, Danny Dyer has had an amazing year. I think Ben was right. The abuse storyline has really put him in the spotlight. Let's be honest. It's not as if Mick's ever been shy of stepping forward into the spotlight and having these big, massive stories. But I think this has been one of his best storylines for a long time. I think so. And Danny Dyer's been amazing during it, so fair play.
And I think Toby would have had a chance if things didn't go the way they've gone this year with that storyline. So it's their own fault.
Okay, cool. Next up is the best female performance. And here's Ben with the nominees.
That's right, we've got best female performance. And we've got quite range again. We have Kelly Bright, Letitia Dean, and Jessica Plummer. So all of them have had very different storylines and arcs this year. But who's the best performance? Who gave the best go?
Do Letitia Dean's eyes get their own category?
Letitia Dean's eyes should have been nominated, but unfortunately we didn't have her in there. But with Letitia Dean, although she had the story with obviously trying to kill Ian this year, and also the having the child, having the baby, and Phil kind of throwing her out and so on and so forth, and the Shianu reveal. But whenever I think Letitia Dean's getting nominated for this award, I just think of she deserves the award because she's had not 37 years, but throughout the whole show, Letitia Dean has pretty much been great on the show. Like EastEnders, if you said EastEnders, there's only about 3 or 4 characters you would instantly say that's EastEnders, and obviously Sharon is one of them. So, again, I'm not trying to be unfair by saying another. That. Of course, and Jags. Yeah. They're all the same thing.
Practically the same.
But I think this year, I think Jessica Plummer, because it was such a good story, that Jessica Plummer had performed. And again, that week when they built up to her being stabbed in the dishwasher, ended up being an excellent week for her.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that, when the domestic violence storyline was a domestic abuse storyline, I remember, it was like every scene that happened between them was like you were immediately on edge, and not many sort of storylines get you to that state. And you can only do that when you've got good acting going on, to be fair. So, I think the thing is with Saoirse Dean, she's one of these that, because we've watched her for so long, we just accept that, Sharon's amazing and will be good in everything. It's just sort of, you take it for granted almost, don't you? A bit like Steve McFadden, you just accept that he's Phil Mitchell, and anything he'll do, you'll just instantly accept. And Kelly Bright, again, is always amazing. Her performance during, especially the alcoholic story, was incredible. So I genuinely couldn't call this one.
I mean, yeah, the alcoholic storyline was great. It's a shame that they kind of erased it. It's kind of it's forgotten but not forgotten. It's still there, but not. They maxed her up.
Yeah, and that did not work. The Max affair was like, nah. Not here for that.
No.
Anyway, so are you ready to hear who won? Who was voted the best female performer?
I am
Certainly
so ready.
Okay. Well, the winner is Jessica Plummer.
Hey!
So, yes, our Chantel Atkins won.
Fair enough.
She gave the performance of her life, literally, and won an award.
Is it Jessica? What's Jessica up to now? I'm genuinely curious what Jessica's up to. I mean,
she's just been announced in something. So,
and of course, she drank a glass of Zinfandel and I'm a Celebrity, which was probably the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Of course, how could we forget?
But when she got the role of Chantel, she said she had no acting experience. She'd had no training or anything. So she's done all right.
Not a bad opener.
She's done better. Not at all. She's done better than AJ on Hollyoaks, let's just say, who's also done no acting.
I wouldn't go that far.
Round.
And still hasn't done any.
She is better than him.
No, AJ is way better. AJ's like here,
that's what
Chantel's like there.
Jessica. Oh, you're saying AJ is better?
This is why you don't host the podcast anymore, Ben. All right.
AJ is like above
Oscar nominee. AJ.
Oh, my earphones popped out. I'm so excited.
Good. Even your headphones disgusting with you. You know that, don't you?
I mean, stay excited, Ben, because this is the very final award of the night. Everyone's starting to pack up their handbags, finishing off their bubbles, the cheap carver, and getting their taxi ready to go home.
Yeah, everyone's going to Letitia Dean's after party. We're not invited.
Not us. Yeah, we've not been invited. It's a brand new award that's being kind of cultivated by, let's just say, a certain era that's been happening these past 1 or 2 years. And it's called the What Were You Thinking? Participation Rosette. Now, these are for stories that we perhaps didn't get along with very well and were considering thinking to ourselves, what were you thinking? Rob at one point was thinking, I'm going to go to LC Studios and actually storm them. So here are the top 3 nominations.
This is a tough category.
For the what were they thinking participation Rosette? And they are Krish's death. Rob, I look forward to talking to you about that in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Gray becoming a serial killer.
Yes.
And Sharon feeding Ian poison pasta off the Queen Vic floor.
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
All of them win.
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, the poison pasta thing shades. It pales in comparison to the madness that has been the aftermath of everything that's gone on since Chantel died, turning Gray into a serial killer. I mean, I think Cush's death and Gray the serial killer basically are one and the same, aren't they? Just all madness, absolute madness, and a real shame. And I mean, I think whichever one of them wins, I'm happy with. Also, quite surprised that there's no music mentioned at all in these top 3. Are we the only ones that kick off about it?
No, it was in the 8 to be nominated, but no one obviously it didn't make the top 3. Nor did Denise's
Wow.
"Listen to Me," which
That's because we got an amazing game out of it, and people thought, well, that's fine then. As long as Walford Weekly have managed to work it, then not a problem.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. Ben, you said all 3. Is there not one that sticks in your throat a little bit more than the other?
Kush, because it was so unnecessary. I don't like it when nice characters get killed, like Fat Boy or Tina, Heather. So it just annoys me, especially so in like such a horrible way. Yeah, that's what upsets me. Not upsets me, but like that's like it doesn't need to be so graphic. Like Arthur and Whitney would have went to the train tracks and saw his body like chopped up. Like, is that necessary? No. But nor is eating pasta off the floor.
I'm surprised, Ben, that you didn't also put as in one of the nominated that Jags gets arrested, because I know how much you love Jags as a character.
Well, that's had more aftermath than anything else.
It has had a lot of aftermath, and perhaps there's more to come. Who knows?
Enough for a recast, I think.
Let's not talk about Jags much more. I mean, as you say, all 3 are worthy winners. However, the one that won the "What Were You Thinking" participation rosette was Kush's death. And it was a very, very sad moment in EastEnders history. Yeah, I understand entirely. The aftermath from that, it was so bad they had to reveal something or leak something that they hadn't planned to leak or reveal, as in Janine returning to EastEnders early, just to kind of tamper out the fire a little bit. That's how bad that decision was. It did work because everyone forgot.
And give him a job on Holby like straight away as a sorry. So yeah, it was obviously a big mistake. So I'm glad that's one.
It's a shame. But I mean, what that award looks like? Just two hands doing this, or like that's going to be something great to stick on your mantelpiece, isn't it? Like,
it's a rosette, so it'd just be like the emoji of like kind of like a.
Excellent.
You know, that's lovely. Right, so that was the 4th annual Walford Weekly Awards. Any surprises came out of that for you guys, or?
No, I think mostly the listeners have done very well there.
They can be trusted.
They can be trusted. I am still quite surprised that nobody voted. I'm surprised that music didn't make the top 3 of the "What Were They Thinking" award, but that's fine. We've got another whole year to moan about it.
Yeah, there's always next year.
I was about to say. Although I am optimistic because recently I've noticed that the music seems to have been.
Don't.
Okay, yeah.
Don't. I did that.
Don't say anymore.
I did that exact thing before, literally the episode that the Denise slowdown stuff happened. I thought it's been so nice without music, and then I got a whole week of music where it was every single episode. So just don't do it. Don't do it. You'll be disappointed and saddened.
Like a parent disappointed with their children. Okay, so thank you to Rob and Ben for joining us yet again for the Walford Weekly Awards. Hope you guys had fun listening to the winners. Is there any you agree with, any you disagree with? Comment below if you're watching us on YouTube, or just get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us on Twitter at Walford Weekly, on Instagram, the same tag at Walford Weekly, or we have a Facebook page. Just search Walford Weekly Podcast. Don't forget, we have a podcast that comes out every Sunday where we review the week of EastEnders. That's me and Rob, and we do a damn good job at it, don't we, Rob?
Amazing job. Where's our award?
No, there should be an award. Like the Sabrinas and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's just Rob and Alex every single nomination. Ben also does a spoiler cast that comes out every Tuesday on our YouTube channel. Ben, is there anything you can spoil for us right now?
No. Kate Oates will have my head.
Okay. Thank you once again for joining us for the Walford Weekly Awards. We hope you can join us again next year, where no doubt music will be nominated for the participation rosette. Thank you once again, and it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Bye from me. A long goodbye.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.